welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something truly fascinating and honestly pretty challenging. We're unpacking a philosophical framework by Xu Feng that is all about taking extreme suffering and completely flipping it, transforming it into what the author calls the fragrance of paradise. Now, look, this isn't your standard run-of-the-mill self-help advice. It's a really profound, unyielding perspective on karma, fate, and what it actually means to be human. The source text hits us right out of the gate with its core thesis, and it's incredibly direct. It says the essence of being human lies in three things: be content, be grateful, cherish. The argument here is that no matter what kind of situation you're in, whether you're starving, homeless, sick, or completely alone, humanity basically just boils down to those three pillars. So let's look at what that actually looks like in practice, especially when life gets unbelievably hard. So here's our roadmap for this complex map of the soul. We're going to start with the flawless program, then move through Pillar 1, true contentment, Pillar 2, radical gratitude, and Pillar 3, absolute cherishment, before wrapping it all up with turning the wheel of fate. All right, Section 1, the universe's flawless program and mathematical cause and effect. To even begin to understand those three pillars, we first have to wrap our heads around the foundational premise here. And that premise is that the universe operates with precise mathematical logic. Absolutely everything is bound by this program. Life unfolds through an exact system of cause and effect. We're literally talking about massive celestial bodies like the sun and the earth, all the way down to cattle, sheep, plants, and, even a tiny caterpillar hanging out on a leaf. Nothing gets an exception. Every single movement, every interaction happens within this finely tuned program. We're really all just moving parts within a grand cosmic equation. Which brings us to this brilliant metaphor from the text. There's a saying, when the flower is fragrant, butterflies will come. But on the flip side of that, if no butterflies show up, well, you can't really blame them, right? It just means the flower lacks fragrance. It's a super radical stance on personal responsibility. If the people around you are cruel, foolish, or just completely untrustworthy, this philosophy argues that you attracted them. The problem is never actually with them, but within yourself. This introduces the concept of karmic debt as a very literal settling of accounts. Think of it like this. Step 1, you wouldn't even be born into the world if you didn't owe it a debt. Step 2, you wouldn't cross paths with another person unless you owed them a favor. And step 3 is settling the account. So being cursed, deceived, or oppressed, it's not framed as random victimhood, it's just a mechanism for repaying your debt. It completely, totally flips the script on how we usually view our daily hardships. So with that context, let's jump into Pillar 1, true contentment, and what it means to live a high-level life. This philosophy loves to push our understanding to the absolute extreme with Socratic questions, like, what if you have absolutely nothing? If you're entirely destitute, maybe begging on the street, or literally rummaging through a garbage heap, should you still feel content? The text gives a resounding absolute yes. Imagine you find nothing but a broken bowl in a garbage heap. Yet, if you can still walk, if you can still beg for food, and most importantly, if you can still look up and see blue skies, white clouds, green hills, and flowing waters, you lack absolutely nothing. You're already surrounded by the immense wealth of existence. So, true contentment isn't about material wealth, not even a little bit. It's what elevates you to a high-level life. Once you manage to attain this state, your entire world expands. You realize that the clear breeze and the bright moon, they're already yours. And that makes you a truly rich soul among mortals. Moving right along to Pillar 2, radical gratitude, which is also called the art of turning back. Now look, it's super easy to be grateful for a promotion at work or, a really good meal. But we're challenged with another extreme hypothetical from the source material here. Should I be grateful when I am starving? And the unapologetic answer to that? If you're starving, but you still have 10 minutes left before you die, how could you not be grateful for those final 10 minutes of consciousness? It forcefully urges us to find this profound appreciation for the simple, miraculous act of just breathing, right up until the very last second. Gratitude in this context is definitely not just a polite thank you. It's described as a literal lifesaver. It is the hand that reaches out and stops you right at the cliff's edge. It's the active art of turning back from death, basically a survival mechanism for your very soul. Which leads us perfectly into Pillar 3, absolute cherishment. and the practice of protecting goodness. Okay, this is where the philosophy gets incredibly uncomfortable. What if someone completely humiliates you, physically degrades you? What if they literally piss on your head? Should you still cherish that experience? It pushes this whole idea of radical acceptance to its absolute wildest limit. And incredibly, the answer is yes. You must cherish the encounter. You actually have to cherish the chance to be humiliated. Why? Because according to the text, this is your golden opportunity to finally repay your karmic debt. The text warns that if you don't settle the account right now, you risk a way worse fate in your next life. Like, we're talking being reborn as an ox, a horse, or suffering even worse down in hell. So, cherishment isn't just some passive, warm, fuzzy feeling. It's an active, fiercely protective energy. It's described as the gentle medicine that sustains bonds, and an elixir that actually invites unseen help from deities. By cherishing the absolute worst moments, you're deploying a shield that safeguards the goodness you hold and protects your dearest wishes. Bringing all of this together, we hit our final section, turning the wheel of fate, and the choice between the upward versus downward spiral. You essentially have two distinct paths here. Good has no ceiling. It can just keep expanding without bounds. Evil, however, has absolutely no floor. It falls down into infinite darkness. The idea is that if you remain ungrateful and bitter during your darkest hours, things are only going to deteriorate. You're going to spiral downward into that infinite darkness with no way out. But, and this is the crucial part, if you are still conscious, you still have power. By genuinely practicing that contentment, gratitude, and cherishment, yes, even while you're starving or being completely humiliated, you can literally turn the wheel of your fate. You hit the brakes on that downward spiral and start moving toward light and really profound transformation. Ultimately, the author drops this incredible line, "I am not teaching you to be a good person." This whole thing, it isn't about societal etiquette. It's not about traditional morality. It is a spiritual survival guide. The ultimate goal is to elevate your existence, to actually feel the fragrance of paradise, regardless of whatever chaos is swirling around you. So, I'm going to leave you with this to ponder today. If life truly is a flawless mathematical program like the text claims, what unseen debts are you currently repaying through your own daily challenges? And more importantly, through your contentment, gratitude, and cherishment, what fragrance are you putting out into the world for the butterflies to find?